What up, everybody? InstructaBeats back again here with another converting units of measurement lesson day. We're talking about the Lexus and the Saddle again, but with regards to the metric system. So let's ride on in and see what our objective is today. All right, out in the West, our objective today I will be able to convert metric units of measurement by choosing the Lexus or the Saddle. All right, just to kind of remind us of our steps, because the steps are going to be exactly the same. We're just talking about a different measurement system. Our steps for converting: you're going to make your have and wanted chart. You're going to label the larger unit and the smaller unit. You're going to pick your mode of transportation. Are you taking the Lexus? Or are you taking the Saddle? And then, of course, you are going to solve. So this will be very, very similar, but actually a little bit easier with the metric system because of the way it's set up. So our Instructa story: King Henry died unusually, there's King Henry, dying, drinking chocolate milk. Okay, so what does that have to do with the metric system? This is a story that helps us remember the prefixes that the metric system uses. So King helps us remember kilo. Henry would be hecto. Died would be deca. Unusually is going to be our unit. Okay, right? So as we've learned, the unit for length in the metric system is meter. The unit for weight would be gram. Okay, and the unit for capacity would be liter. So if you live in the United States plus one other country, you would use inches and feet to measure length. Everywhere else in the world, they use meters. We would use pounds or ounces in America to measure weight. They use grams everywhere. So it's a completely different measurement, right? Liters, which we sometimes use for 2 liters or other types of milk maybe, but typically we use cups, gallons, quarts, right? Well, everywhere else in the world, they use liters. And it's actually a really smart thing to do, and I'll tell you why in a second. Let's keep going with the prefixes. So here we have drinking. That would be deci, kind of like a decimal. Chocolate would be centi, and then milk would be milli. So you could have a kilogram, kilometer, or kiloliter, or kiloliter, depending on how you pronounce that. You have a hectometer, hectogram, hectoliter. Typically, we don't really hear a lot about these two, but they're important to the story. And then we have, obviously, meters, grams, and liters. And we have deci, like decimal, centi, and milli. Now, the phenomenal thing about the metric system, as we've previously learned, is it's based on 10, right? So it's all based on a base 10 number system. So this is kind of like your ones place. This would be like your decimal, right? And then we could have our tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. I won't write that all the way out. This would be, the deca would be our tens, like decade. Hecto would be our hundreds. And then kilo would be our thousands place, right? So instead of having to remember that, 4 quarts make a gallon, but there are 2 pints in each quart, right? Or 16 ounces makes a pound, but 8 fluid ounces makes a cup. Everywhere else in the world, they got really smart, like, hey, let's base it on 10. So as we get bigger, you need 10 groups of a milliliter to make a centimeter, 10 groups of a centimeter to make a decimeter, 10 decimeters to make a meter, 10 meters to make a decameter, right? And you get the pattern, right? And if you go backwards, you would be dividing by 10. This is a really great measuring system that uses tens, just like we use for our normal base 10 number system, to help us measure things. So it's actually really easy to convert using this, but we're still going to use our Lexus and Saddle. If you need help remember what the biggest unit is, we can remember these prefixes right here in the story that goes along with it. That leads us to our key thought for our lesson today. When converting and using the metric system, we only need to understand the prefixes because they're the same for weight, length, and capacity. Okay, and that again makes it so much easier to use than the system we use in the United States with gallons, pints, cups, ounces, pounds, inches, right? 12 inches are in a foot, but they're only 3 feet in a yard. And so just a bunch of different seemingly random numbers. So this is our key thought for the lesson that we can use. So here's our I do problem, okay? And we gave this note down here, all right, to kind of help us. But if we didn't, we could write down King Henry died unusually, and I like to put a little box around here and put liters, meters, and gallons, drinking chocolate milk. This story can help you remember what's bigger or smaller. So how many liters are in 1,600 milliliters? So let's make our have and wanted chart. So we have 1,600 milliliters, and we want to turn that into liters. So first of all, I see that liters are right here, milliliters are right here. So liters are bigger. So I'm going from smaller to larger unit, right? Then if you have this note, you can use the note. If 1 liter equals 1,000 milliliters, obviously 1 liter would be bigger than 1 milliliter. So again, we're going from smaller to larger. When we do that, we are taking the saddle. Yeah, get on over there, horse, right? We're taking the saddle, which means we are going to be dividing. So there are 1,000 milliliters in a liter. So we need to do 1,600 divided by 1,000. So once you know that you're dividing, there's a couple different ways to divide this. You could use long division and do that, okay? You could write it as a fraction, okay, in fraction form, and that way you could cross out the zeros. Or you could just use your multiple of 10 knowledge of moving your decimal to the left or to the right. So if we do it this way, 1,600 divided by 1,000, right? I can cross out these zeros because I understand my base 10 number system. And I'm going to get 16 divided by 10, which again, you could solve that with long division, right? You could solve it by moving your decimal over, but you're going to get 1 6/10. If you do it this way, and you're familiar with moving your decimal to the right when you multiply and moving it to the left when you divide, you're going to be moving it over 3 place values to the left. So your decimal would be right here, and you're going to move it over 1, 2, 3. And again, you would get 1 600 thousandths, which again is equivalent to 1 6/10. So no matter what you do, you get the same answer of 1 6/10. So if you convert 1,600 milliliters to liters, that would actually be 1 full liter and then 6/10 of another liter. Again, if you need help with the dividing, check out our dividing lessons. That's not really the point of this lesson today, but you can check out our videos that we have on that, and that will help you out. Let's take a look at a we do problem. All right, so for this one, we have how many grams are in 304 kilograms? So again, we're using our prefixes to help us. If you need to write down the story right here, King Henry died unusually, okay, meters, liters, grams, drinking chocolate milk. We know that we're going to make our have and wanted chart first. So we have 304 kilograms. You can say kg as a abbreviation for that. And we want to turn that into grams. So for this one, we have kilograms. That's the biggest prefix that we're going to use. And we're going over here to grams. So we're going from larger to smaller, which means we're taking our Lexus, and we know that we multiply when we have our Lexus right there, right? If you don't want to use the story, if you want to use the note right here, if there are 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram, obviously 1 kilogram would be bigger than 1 gram. So again, we're using the Lexus. So we know that there's 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So we're going to take 304, we're going to be multiplying that by 1,000. And again, I'm just going to use the shortcut because I understand my place value. Again, you could do whatever type of multiplication you want, but when I multiply by 1,000, I'm going to be moving over my decimal 3 places to the right. So if I have 304, my decimal next to the ones place, I'll move it over 1, 2, 3, and my answer should be 304,000 now. Okay, so if you had 304 kilograms, that would be 304,000 grams. Let's ride on to our you try problem. All right, so go ahead and pause the video. You're going to try this one and then push play to check your work and see how you did. It's okay to fail as long as you learn from it. So go ahead and pause it right now and push play when you're ready to check your work. So hopefully you just paused it. We know, again, I see meters and centimeters. So if I do my story up here, okay, I know I have meters and I'm going to centimeters, right? So I have centimeters and I'm going to meters, so I'm going the other way. So I have 864 centimeters, and I want to turn that into meters. So I'm going from smaller to larger, which means I should be taking my saddle and dividing. My note down here helps remember that 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. And so I'm doing 864 divided into groups of 100. And again, when I do this, I know I'm dividing, so I'm going to be moving my decimal to the left 2 place values. Again, this is a shortcut. Check out our video on it, or you could do it the standard algorithm. You're still going to get the same answer. So I have 864. My decimal would be right next to the ones place, and I'm moving over 2 places to the left. And so my answer is 8 6400 meters. So if you were measuring 864 centimeters, you would have 8 full meters and then 64 hundredths of another meter. Hopefully you got that one right. Again, it's okay to fail as long as you learn from it. If you need help actually doing the math part, check out other videos. If you like this video, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, let us know where you're watching from. Go ahead and check out our measurement song, one of our favorite songs. Again, thank you so much for checking us out today. We know there's lots of different options online. We really appreciate you spending your time with InstructaBeats. Check out InstructaBeats.com for all our merchandise that you should buy for your friends and family for Christmas or whatever holidays you celebrate. Like, subscribe, let us know where you're watching from. Again, thank you so much. InstructaBeats out.